South Africa, what you're about to hear will shake you. Because today, a mafia boss on camera openly admits that he paid a senior government minister, Senzo Mchunu, to target and destroy one of the only police generals actually fighting crime in this country, Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi.
I had to pay Mchunu a lot of money, and I'm giving him a BMW, and I'm paying for the 3 prostitutes.
Yes, you heard that right. This isn't a conspiracy theory. It's on video. A criminal laughing, mocking the system, celebrating the collapse of justice. Because in his own words, we are catching Mkhwanazi. Let's get straight into it.
As you know, I am the foreign criminal in South Africa. And I'm making a lot of money off the drugs, the hijackings, and the cash in transit. But this General Mkhwanazi has been a big problem, okay? He's killing my criminals in KZN like dogs. This Mkhwanazi is attacking my wallet. I'm not going to Mauritius for the holidays. I'm going to Gordons Bay. And I'm not getting these high-class escorts anymore. I must buy the prostitutes from the Kenilworth. It's big dive for me and I'm very unhappy. Recently, my guy, Senzo Mchunu, the head of police, is finally saying he's coming for Mkhwanazi. Masibioze, guys, halala. I had to pay Mchunu a lot of money, and I'm giving him a BMW, and I'm paying for the 3 prostitutes. But the reason I get them to investigate Mkhwanazi is because I'm telling them, you are next, you know? Mkhwanazi, he's not stopping with these hijackers and the criminals and the drug mafia. He's coming for the politicians. So I convince them, you must be very scared. I'm celebrating because it's like so obvious that Mkhwanazi comes for the criminals and the politicians, and now they're investigating him. So now the only problem that can happen is if the people get angry and they rise up and they shout at the politicians. So for me, all the criminals, what we pray is that the public does not protect Mkhwanazi.
In this unbelievable footage, a man posing as a mafia boss explains how General Mkhwanazi has been destroying his criminal empire, shutting down his syndicates, killing his foot soldiers in shootouts, and disrupting his drug operations. And now, he claims they've finally managed to catch Mkhwanazi by bribing the Minister of Police himself. This isn't just an attack on one police general. This is a confession, a warning, a bold declaration that criminals have infiltrated government. He brags that he gave Senzo Mchunu a BMW and paid for prostitutes to thank him for opening an investigation into Mkhwanazi. And then he says the quiet part out loud. Mkhwanazi isn't just attacking criminals, he's coming for politicians too. That's when they decided to move against him. This so-called mafia boss literally says he threatened politicians, saying, "You're next if you don't act." And guess what? They acted.
Look, let me explain again. Where does it come from that Mkhwanazi starts speaking about people who are uncomfortable about the work that is done by the team from KZN? It is simple because there's someone who influenced the minister to write a letter to the National Commissioner to disband a task team that is deployed in KZN. Someone, who the person is, I wouldn't know. But there is someone who felt that if this team is part of this investigation, they most likely are going to see the end of this investigation. The best is to disband this team. So when you disband this team, those investigations they're busy with are going to fall away. It's against that context that I was making a reference to this. That there's someone somewhere who went and whispered to the minister. Because to me, it doesn't make sense that you're going to be told disband this. And this which you are told to disband operates here. And the Constitution of the Republic, under Section 207 of the Constitution, the National Commission is mandated in consultation with the executive in the province to appoint a man or a woman to oversee and manage the policing in that particular province. So in this case, it is me, for now, until the National Commission decides otherwise. It is me. So when I'm here and the investigation that is done by this task team is done in this province, which I must account to the 12 million people, the citizens of this province, I must account. There's so many political parties that have been affected by this violence over time. I must explain to them about our interventions in trying to stabilize and get rid of these political killings in this province. We're the only province where such a team had to be formed, because we're the ones that have been killing a lot of politicians, unlike any other province. So that's why there was a focus on this, which was a directive from the president. So we're having this team working, and we've been briefing the previous ministers about it. And the previous minister has always been in the media about it. So to now hear, because the letter was not written to me, I saw it from the media, to hear that there is a letter which is written which says disband this thing. So the question I asked was, National Commissioner, are you aware of this? And the National Commissioner says, I'm on leave. I don't know anything about the letter. I said, but there's a letter in the public space. Maybe you need to find out from the minister whether is, or from your office, whoever is acting, whether is there such a letter that came to your office? Because if the letter comes and say disband something, I feel that the least that must happen is that I must be given an opportunity to brief our principal on it. Then when they make the decision to disband, at least they're informed by what's happening on the ground.
Now let's hear from the man himself, General Mkhwanazi, in a serious sit-down interview with EWN. He explains how someone, a shadowy political figure, whispered into the minister's ear and got him to send a letter to the National Commissioner instructing the disbandment of Mkhwanazi's elite political killings task team. This is the same team that was investigating high-level assassinations in KwaZulu-Natal. It was making real progress, and it was exposing politicians, counselors, and even syndicate-linked officials. So let's get this straight. The team was investigating political murders. It was appointed by the president. It was working and making arrests. And then suddenly, boom, a letter appears, ordering it to be shut down. And Mkhwanazi says he never saw that letter himself. He saw it in the media. He had to ask the National Commissioner if it was even real. The commissioner was on leave and had no idea. So who wrote this letter? Why was it hidden? And why did it target a unit that was finally bringing justice to the families of assassinated counselors? That's the context the Mafia boss is celebrating. Let's zoom out and make something very clear. General Mkhwanazi is one of the few police officers in South Africa actually doing the job. He isn't afraid to raid police stations. He doesn't back down from dangerous criminals. And more importantly, he isn't owned by any political faction. That's what makes him dangerous. Not to the people, but to the criminals inside and outside the state. And guess what happened when he cleared crime intelligence boss Faraz Khan in 2021? That decision to clear Khan in the 700 million rand cocaine bust created enemies, powerful ones. The IPID then turned around and launched an investigation into Mkhwanazi himself, accusing him of interfering in an arrest in 2023. But that investigation, it was later dropped. There was no evidence of wrongdoing, and yet the damage was already done. Public confidence was tested. His name was smeared. But now, with this footage, we finally get a glimpse of the machinery behind the scenes. The pressure, the manipulation, the money, the BMWs, the prostitutes, the blatant bragging, and the most chilling line in that entire clip, the Mafia boss ends by saying, "The only thing that can ruin this plan is if the public protects Mkhwanazi." He said it himself. These people fear you, the public. They fear a united public that refuses to let another honest cop be taken down. They fear outrage. They fear support. They fear a movement that says, not again. Let's not forget the history. KwaZulu-Natal is a province where political assassinations are a weekly reality. Dozens of local councillors, whistleblowers, and even ANC comrades have been gunned down over tenders and power. That's why the Political Killings Task Team was created in the first place. And under Mkhwanazi, it was working. Now, because that team got too close to the truth, to the networks that link criminals, politicians, and dirty cops, they tried to shut it down. We now have a Mafia boss on camera, admitting to the entire playbook. Bribe a minister. Frame the honest cop. Celebrate the downfall. Hope the public stays asleep. Well, not anymore. This must be a turning point. The public must ask, where is the investigation into this Mafia boss? Where is the arrest for bribery? Where is IPID now? Where is the media outrage that we usually see when a whistleblower says something? Why has Senzo Mchunu not responded to these claims? Why has Parliament not launched a hearing? South Africa, you are watching in real time a test of how far criminality has spread into our politics. Mkhwanazi is not perfect. No officer is. But the message is clear. If he can be hunted like this, through lies, setups, and media manipulation, then what chance do any honest public servants have? This fight isn't just about Mkhwanazi. It's about whether the criminals running from bullets can also run our politics. We have to say, not on our watch. Protect the ones who protect us. Speak out, stay awake, and demand action, because the only thing that scares them is you.